Starbucks didn't do nothing wrong. What those guys were supposed to do was they were supposed to buy a fucking cup of coffee. That's what Starbucks is there for. The vast majority of people go into Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, and leave. The vast majority of their customers. Otherwise, the place would be packed full of people. You never get a cup of coffee. So most people go in, get the coffee, leave. And so this is what the real issue is. See, there's people who behave normally, and then there's all these people who don't. And when people who don't behave normally, and just don't, they just don't think they have to. They don't have to be likable. They don't have to be polite. They don't have to follow the rules. They just don't have to. You know, they don't have to. And so so when suddenly it's like, oh well, those are the rules, and now you got to go because the rules here are this. And then suddenly, you know, there's D-Ray. There's, you know, Al Sharpton. You know, and so what everybody's doing is they're smelling the money. Starbucks has money. Everybody's smelling it. Starbucks needs to understand they need to now drop this like it never happened. They need to act like this never happened. When people write them letters, when people are yelling things, they need to call the police, have them removed if that's the issue. You know, there's people who are fucking up their business. They need to have the people escorted out by the police, and they need to never mention this again. Ever again, because no one cares. Nobody who lives who's a normal person, who's functional in the world, fucking cares. These guys were supposed to leave the premises. Period. That's the entire end of it. They were asked to leave the premises. They were supposed to leave the premises. It doesn't matter if some weirdo with a lisp. It's like, what were they doing? Oh, it's because they're black men. You're arresting them. Well, what's going on here? You know, and it's like, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you met with, you know, your gay weed dealer. You know, it's, dude, you know, you gotta go. Like, you aren't buying anything. Now you want to use the bathroom. Here's what the real deal is. Here's the whole deal. This is fucking Philadelphia. That guy could have come out of the bathroom with a mask on and a gun, and then cleared out the register, and then he would have fucking left. Now people would be like, oh, that doesn't happen. That happens all the time in a place like Philadelphia. That happens all the time. East of the Mississippi. Black people just, remember, there is the thing of all the women's shops that like 20 black people just come in and just take kind of everything they could grab and then just leave. You know, this is super normal behavior. You know, Missouri. Was it St. Louis? St. Louis is a place where this happens like all the time. Black people just come in, fuck shit up, and then just leave. And nobody does anything. Nobody calls the police. They just wait till the black people are done destroying the fucking shop. This is super normal. And really, let me make this real clear. I have had many white people take me to the side and be like, what just happened? And I'm like, that's what black people do when they're customers. Oh, are you a shop that sells one item? I don't like that one item. I'm gonna be weird about it now. I'm gonna make this weird, and I'm going to like, my mouth's going to hang open. That's one, and then I'm going to ask about things, but I don't like anything. I've literally had black customers have to taste all sorts of sauces. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. It was Tommy Sotomayor who was, I'm like, oh my God, you know that. You know this word, D. It's supposed to be that with an A, but I don't like that. And people just don't get this. It's like, oh, you know, who's the one person who, for some reason, it's like they're always asking if the cookies are soft. You're the one person who's always going to ask if the cookies are soft today. And it's just that kind of thing. This is just what you finally expect after you work in America for like 10 years serving people. That it's like it's just, that's how black customers sometimes are. And inordinately, at a level that I don't understand it. I mean, and it's really this thing of like, every time I'm like, no, come on. People are people. You know, I do this every time. But it takes about 4 or 5 words. And every group has something they do. Every group has something they do that is irritating as shit. Let me make this very clear. It's every group, you know, Filipino women are their own interesting customer service situation. East Coast overly dressed white women, you know, they're their own customer service thing. Thoughts, white thoughts. Yeah, you know, people who, dysfunctional, frantic mom. Totally, a whole experience. You have to understand them. And for the most part, most people, I can meet them halfway. I know how to kind of like, okay, I need to guide you through this process this way, because you will ask stupid questions, because there are stupid questions. Asking if an item that I sell is of a quality level that's acceptable. Is it good? Of course it's good. Why wouldn't I? Why would we be selling it if it wasn't good? I don't like that. You know, it's like, and so it's. I just wanted to put that out there, because after seeing this thing in Philadelphia and all these people getting mad, it's like, no. People, everybody knows the score. Everybody knows the score. There's just a bunch of people who pretend that they've done food service before. They pretend that they've done that kind of job. So they're acting like, oh no, you're not supposed to throw people out. No. Coffee shops are where the weirdest weirdos will just sit for hours, because this is the one place where nobody will fuck with them. You know, if you're super weird, if you're all fucked up, you could get a cup of coffee and you could be left alone for hours. I've worked at places where people have fallen asleep, and they just fall asleep. We just let them. You know, they're not bothering anybody. Coffee's still sitting there, and they just kind of doze off, you know. They're exhausted. You know, they spent all night freezing. You know, like there's a kid who comes in. This kid has been homeless now for years. He's literally kind of my image of like the nightmarish outcome of what's going to happen in America, where this kid lives like a soldier. The clothing he wears, everything he does, the kid is disciplined now. The streets have made him disciplined. And you know, I just give him a nod, and God, I feel so bad for him. Some days you could just tell that the cold just beat him up. Sometimes he's, you know, but he'll come in, he'll get a cup of coffee, he'll set his ruck down, and it's just like that. You know, it's just like, dude, this, all right, yeah, you know, 50 cents for a refill. Those are the rules. You know, and everybody gets it. When you live in poor rural America, you kind of get it. And then there's people who, they can't be in your shop. And we have people who they are homeless menaces to society. And people, they'll chat people up. They'll be like, oh, I got jokes. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Hey, do you want to? Oh, look at, here's your child. I'm going to talk to your son. You know, because in rural white America, you're not allowed anymore to say, don't talk to me or my son ever again. You're not allowed to. It's rude. It's considered rude. You know, if you have to say to somebody like, hey, you know, no, not chatting. You know, that's what homeless people do nowadays. Because you can't fucking shoot them. You can't take brass knuckles to them. You can't say, hey, hey, all you homeless people, you see this? Bang. Talk that fucking shit, you get fucking hit. And, and you take off. You can't show people the fucking score. Because this is an effeminate, weak America. Where you can't insist that people maintain any fucking standards of behavior. And I do believe in like removing customers, like bring all the boys from the kitchen out. Let's show this cat where the fucking door is. I believe in that. I think that was a better time for America. I've seen a kitchen fucking like all mob up looking at somebody like, what did you just say? I've seen it. And it's a good thing when you have a team like that. You feel real fucking confident. Everything works better when you have a team that they're willing to back somebody up because some customer is stepping way the fuck out of line. Because it happens. The customer's not ever always right. It is good the word no and the word wrong are extremely important words in the English language. But yeah, it's just, people just need to fucking get this through their heads. That this isn't something that's lost on anybody. It's just that we're not allowed to talk about this. That there, for all like the picky things, like precious little princesses and mama bears will be about, no, it's nothing like when you get black people who are insisting on attracting negative attention. Because they know different. They do know different. They know white people would do this. We're not going to do that. They know this. And I mean, there's been times where, I mean, I've sat there and I'm like, who would do that? And then I'm like, fuck, and it's just that moment where being half black where you're just like, fuck, why do they, damn, why, why, it's just, and, but I've had many, and especially women, who, they're like, Donovan, what is the deal with that? I'm like, okay, let me just break this down. And that they finally, because they really were like, I really feel like I'm being a bad person thinking these thoughts. It's like, no, you are perceiving reality. You're a woman, so you're not allowed to be negative. You're not allowed to say other women would, oh, how could you say something like that? Oh my God. And women are rough on other women in that way because women's relationships are based on group status. Often. It's only when a woman has no interest in status among a group anymore or doesn't need to worry about her status among a group, that then she's free of that. And this is mostly what's called a wife and a mother. Or it's a woman who's truly independently a badass in some way. She makes enough money that she doesn't need anybody else. She, she's got her life together enough that she does her own thing. And so her friends sort of don't really know a lot of details about her life. There's thoughts and feelings that really they are not ever going to be privy to because she keeps them to herself, because she's probably also much smarter than most of her friends. And that's why the status symbols don't matter as much. As she has character. And I was just this whole thing with Philly and watching now, DeRay McKesson has popped up out of the toilet, out of a glory hole comes DeRay's head, and then there's this guy Eugene Gu, MD. I've seen him on Twitter before. He's another one of these race baiting trash. And so there all these kind of, and I'm pretty sure I'm actually really like, no, because Sargon brought him up, and I'm like, I could swear I have seen this guy before on Twitter with some other thing that supposedly was super racist. But yeah, I'm just, this is, and there's all kinds. I mean, really, there's all kinds. White dudes who are too broed out, that they're way too casual, and you're just like, okay, I get it, you're relaxed, you're casual, but I don't know you, so keep it somewhat formal. You know, and I'm just used to that because of the kind of people, the kind of white people I was raised by, and and the understand it's just certain things is understanding, and so I just wanted to put that out there. Starbucks didn't do nothing wrong. Do not apologize when people don't leave your place and you want them to. You then call the cops. We do this all the time. At the shop I work at, we've called the cops. There's even a special group of people for all the crazy people. There's a special company that will come and deal with the crazy people, and all the crazy people in town know, like, oh, the crazy truck is here, you know, and they know they gotta chat with them and stuff. They usually know them. Usually, oh, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. You know, it's, you know, are you okay? You know, blah blah blah, and they talk them down. They you know what, and so, I mean, I've seen these people like buy a person like a cup of coffee and send them on their way, and it's been really great. They totally disarmed the situation. But this is a different thing. These were just two people who it's like, oh, well, the rules of the place are you have to buy something to loiter. Or I'm sorry, it's loitering if you don't buy something. They were fucking loitering. And that's it. And there's a bunch of people who are like, oh, but laws and rules, they have a tan. They have a legacy of slavery. They don't understand buying coffee. You know, what? You know, what's wrong with you people? And this is something that people need to get who are black Americans, who really have some sense of class, and really, like, they don't get arrested for trespassing in a coffee shop. You know, because they'd be like, oh, yeah, oh, I got to buy a cup of coffee. Okay, cool. You know, buy a cup of tea, buy a cup of coffee, buy a cookie, anything. Starbucks has innumerable little items you could buy. You know, and it's like, okay, you know, fine. That's what you do. You see, there's plenty of black people who get this, and the thing is, you know, you've been there, you've been there, standing there while some black person looks at you and is like, can you believe people talking to me like this? Shit, you know, and you're just like, oh God, I don't know you. I'm not related to you. Our ancestors aren't from some ancient tradition together. No, you are some weirdo who is making a scene, who likes negative attention. Your mama taught you to get negative attention. You know, and why? Who knows? You know, but that's what your mama did. You know, other people, they like positive attention. They don't want to get locked up in the pokey for not buying a cup of coffee in a fucking coffee shop. And now these guys look like dumbasses because they're dumbasses. Starbucks did nothing fucking wrong. And people need to start getting over this thing that black people don't have to behave in any way, shape, or form like everybody else in society. All right, later.